What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome to the hype video for the Philadelphia Eagles as they take on the Seattle Seahawks across country at CenturyLink Field. Now, this is a big-time matchup for our Philadelphia Eagles. Looking at the season, like, it's right up there with our Carolina Panthers Thursday night game in terms of importance, in terms of difficulty, even though the Legion of Boom is out, and that will be the number one point that we're going to start off with. It's still Seattle. They still have Russell Wilson, who, much like our own savior, the Ginger Jesus himself, Carson Wentz, is an MVP candidate. And, you know, no matter what or how you want to slice it, playing in Seattle is incredibly, incredibly difficult. So here's going to be the top 10 things to jump in, keep an eye on, keys to victory, everything in between. So at point number 10, there's going to be no Legion of Boom for Seattle. I mean, they still have Earl Thomas, who's one of the best, if not the best, free safety in the NFL, but there's no Cam Chancellor. There's no Richard Sherman. We're going to be going up. Maybe even Shaq Griffin, the really solid, I think it was a 3rd or 4th round pick at UCF. He might miss some time. So there's a chance that Jeremy Lane and old Philadelphia Eagle Byron Maxwell are their starting secondary. And Earl Thomas, even the great Earl Thomas, is not going to be able to, you know, kind of elevate the play of those guys. It's kind of as is. So that game, this to me, no Legion of Boom means no excuses. Leave the only excuses to the people that still want to deny that the Philadelphia Eagles are a good team, so that could be their only point. Looking at you, Skippeth. Obviously, you know, Philadelphia wins. Oh, the Legion of Boom wasn't out there. Carson Wentz is having every little thing fall his way this season. That seems to be the narrative that Skip Bayless likes to have, even though, you know, Carson Wentz is missing his future Hall of Famer, was playing like a top 5 left tackle, and the Eagles are missing their best middle linebacker, their caller, the leader of the defense. But I digress. There's no excuses for the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers this time. Alshon Jeffrey needs to feast on these inferior wide receivers, and the connection, the chemistry between Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey right now is firing on all cylinders. We were, you know, myself included, we're all worrying. Alshon Jeffrey's number is going to be so mediocre that while we all understand that he's kind of the reason why Zach Ertz, Nelson Aguilar, and those guys are playing really well, hell, even Carson Wentz, that he was going to walk because we weren't going to pay him because of his numbers, it's looking like Alshon Jeffrey's going to finish with some fringe Pro Bowl numbers by the end of season. Maybe not 1,000 yards, probably will hit 1,000, but more so the touchdowns. I fully expect Alshon to be double-digit touchdowns by the end of the season, but he needs to feast here in Seattle against, you know, a depleted secondary for the Seattle Seahawks. Going to point number 9, it's the 12th man. It's the toughest home field in the NFC. It's going to give us a great idea how this team as a whole play against the odds in precarious situations. Now, if, you know, we can handle business the rest of the regular season, we're not going to have to worry about traveling into any other team's territory, which is huge for the Philadelphia Eagles. Absolutely huge. I think I might dedicate another video to that once, maybe after we get out of this West Coast stretch, and really, you know, kind of elate how big home field for the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be. But, you know, still, it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to show how this team plays, you know, because so many of our games have been blowouts. We haven't really seen what this team plays like with their backs against the wall, and this is going to be a really good time. Even if Seattle's down, how that home field advantage works against our Eagles team is going to be adversity within itself. So I'm very excited to see how this team can handle that. Do they crack under pressure, or do they rise above it and continue to blow out Seattle? Because right now, looking at the Seahawks team, they are Seattle. Throw the myth out that the history of Seahawks and all this stuff. Outside of Russell Wilson, this Seahawks team is not that good. We should beat them as handedly as we beat the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe not so much, you know, the Bears and stuff like that. But this should be a big win for Phil, a comfortable win. It's not going to be, but it very well should be on paper. Number 8 is the Seattle Seahawks offensive line is now average. Dwayne Brown coming in. They got Britt. You got Luke Jokel switched into interior now. They're an average offensive line now. You know, it's in the offseason it was terrible. Now that with Dwayne Brown, he's really good. It's average. Plus, Dwayne Brown's limping in. If he even does play in this game, he's not at 100%. But, you know, this is good for the Philadelphia Eagles to eliminate the run and make the Seahawks one-dimensional, which they have been plenty of times this season. It's not like it's going to be something new for them, but it's still something that we need to go out and do, which is going to be a tremendous advantage for our defense, because once you eliminate the run, you know the only time you're not going to bite on the play-action pass. It's going to be harder for Russell Wilson to run bootlegs, get that QB spy in action, which goes to point number 7. Spy the living hell out of Russell Wilson. He is going to be the run and pass game. Everything is going to go through him as it has done all season. He's a tremendous player, and I was actually probably on him for MVP consideration before a lot of people did when I did my short list video a couple weeks ago. He's playing tremendous. He's playing absolute tremendous football. So spy him. We have athletic linebackers. We have athletic safeties. Be it Malcolm Jenkins, be it Nigel Bradham, be it Michael Kendricks. We have the athletes to be able to contain that man. Don't let him beat us with his legs. Going to point number 6 is we're going to find out how elite the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is. I mean, we still have the uncertainty of Big V at left tackle. It's going to be really, really pushed to the test here against Seattle, who has, Michael Bennett, you have Jerron Reed, you have Sheldon Richardson, Frank Clark, you got our old buddy Marcus Smith. I think he's still, I don't know if he's still playing, but, even though Legion of Boom's out, Seattle still has a very good defensive line, and you also have to worry about Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright. Both those guys can blitz fairly effectively. So let's see what this offensive line can do. I mean, again, not to really refer to Skip Bayless because that guy's an absolute moron, but I mean, he's even dropped the hot take that Big V looks better than Jason Peters out there. So I guess there's this stigma that, Philadelphia's offensive line's been able just to, act like nothing ever happened when Jason Peters went down. We're able to continue to keep going on, which diehard Eagle fans know that it's night and day between Big V and Jason Peters. They're going to be put to the test right now. I mean, I don't think for the remainder of the Eagle schedule, we're going to come up against a defensive line that's going to test us as well as this is. So this is a good preview for the playoffs, because once you get to the playoffs, pretty much every team that is playoff bound has a really good defensive line. So let's see how our team can handle that and how well that will be able to establish the run. Point number 5, it's a wide receiver revenge game. Last time we played the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson caught more touchdown passes than our wide receivers on a trick play. I think Doug Baldwin threw it. It was absolutely embarrassing. It was the complete summary, I think it was last year, the complete summary of why Carson Wentz struggled as a rookie, the complete summary of why our wide receivers were terrible when Russell Wilson had better numbers than all of our wide receivers pretty much combined. So now it's a revenge game. I know most of the wide receivers on this roster weren't here last year. Maybe for Nelson Aguilar, he could have a big time performance. But I mean, Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Matt Collins, Zach Ertz is on the roster. That kind of stuff needs to stick in your head. When the other team beats you so bad that your positional group was worse than their quarterback on a trick play. This is your time to shine. Legion of Boom limping in. Let's whoop that ass. Let's get some revenge on this. Going to point number 4 is that however tempting it may be to pass a lot because the Legion of Boom's out, we still need to establish a run. So many teams you see when there's a weak positional group, they want to exploit it and go all in and exploit it. And that's where you get overzealous. That's where you start to make mistakes. That's where you get Carson Wentz out of his rhythm. Establish a run. It's going to be tough to establish a run because Seattle's front 7 is still really, really strong. But there's not going to be a game that, the Legion of Boom's out, let's have Carson Wentz throw it 35 times. You're still on the road. You're still in Seattle. They still have scheme. They still have some playmakers back there. Don't get overzealous. Continue with this balanced game plan. I fully expect Doug Peterson to do that. But you never know, man. You could still just be licking your chops, looking at the stars, saying, "Oh my God, Carson Wentz can throw for 700 yards here against this Legion of Boom deflated." Patriots joke. Secondary, establish a run. Get it going. Give more touches to J.J. Going to point number 3. It's going to be Ron Darby going up against Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin's still a playmaker. He's still a guy that can burn you for 100 yards. So let's see if Darby, who's had 2 really good, outstanding games to welcome back his return. If Darby shuts down Doug Baldwin in this matchup, I'm ready to concede. Not even concede, because I always thought he was going to be good. I'll be ready to acknowledge that Darby is a top 15 corner in the NFL. I'm not so boisterous and so overhyping him that I can say he's a top 10 corner, but top 15 is certainly within the realm. We saw a lot of ups and downs during his time with Buffalo, but when he was playing really, really well, he was shutting down like Odell Beckham and some other top wide receivers there. Like I don't even know who. Let's be honest, there's not a whole lot of good wide receivers in the, like Devontae Parker maybe on the Dolphins or something like that, but more so when he came in, we knew his body of work. He shut down Odell really, really badly when the Bills played the Giants, so we knew Darby's reputation coming in. But if he can start 3 straight games, shutouts pretty much, I'm ready to concede that, he is the real damn deal, and he's a fringe, if not a certified top 15 corner. So I really want to see that consistency continue for Darby, because, throughout his career, it's consistency which has been his downfall, if you will. 3 solid games, especially on the road against Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin. I'm in. Same guy. I didn't write this point down. I guess I should talk about it now. Kind of going back up to how the linebackers need to spy Russell Wilson. Jimmy Graham's been on fire. I don't know. I think I saw him on the injury report, but he should be good to go. Jimmy Graham is another big-time guy. We need to make sure we can lock him down. But luckily enough, our linebackers and safeties are playing out of their minds right now. So that is a good battle. You're not going to completely eliminate Russell Wilson running. You're not going to completely eliminate Jimmy Graham getting open. But with how our guys, how that core group of players that usually match up against linebackers and can spy the quarterbacks, we're playing well enough that those guys shouldn't torch us and beat us alone. You know what I'm saying? Going to point number 2 is that we'll find out a lot about Carson Wentz here. like I said, Legion of Boom on the road. We saw what happened last year. It's a revenge game from him. He's probably caught in the back of his mind about all the things that he did wrong in that game, all the things he did right, how he's going to exploit. We have a genius. We have a football genius in terms of a quarterback. No matter how much you may think Wentz is an MVP or how much you think he's overrated and he's not as good as Brady, you have to acknowledge for a year 2 quarterback, his football IQ is insanely high. So this is where we get to see how well Carson Wentz can take a really bad experience, turn it into positives, build upon his performance. We're going to see how he can control this team on the road in a hostile environment. We're going to see how he can handle still a tremendous defense. All those things together, we're going to see and find out a lot more about our quarterback. And, like, you know, it's not so much, oh yeah, he's looking better year 2. We're going to see this MVP candidate and what he can do in a precarious situation playing at CenturyLink Field. I'm very excited to see that. And the last point is we get to clinch the NFC East with a win here. Everyone was saying, myself included, Thursday night's game between the Redskins and Cowboys, if the Redskins won, the Philadelphia Eagles would automatically clinch. No, let's not let we all saw it happen. Redskins suck. Let's not let those trash Redskins be... Even before that game, even before they lost. I don't want the Redskins to be the reason why we won. I want us to beat a team that's someone's still good. Everyone's saying, Philadelphia hasn't beaten anyone good yet. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL, even though the freaking Patriots have as easy, if not easier of a schedule. I digress. That this year, you can't deny that Seattle on the road is in a very, very difficult situation for the Philadelphia Eagles to be in. And if they can walk away with a win, even a convincing win, they beat someone good. The Panthers were good. The Seattle Seahawks. It's a prize victory. It's a victory you can put up on your mantle. And then even better things, when you're putting up that head, that scalp, that helmet of Russell Wilson, who's hopefully, you know, like a comedy, like a cartoon, like a freaking Looney Tunes. You have to scrape him off the damn pavement because we have so much pressure, so much sacks on his ass. When we scrape his helmet up and we put it on that pedestal, right below it's going to say, clinch the NFC East, your NFC East champion, as of week, what's that, week 12, week 13? We still got a whole like a quarter of the season to go. We already have it locked up? Let's go! So let's go, fellas. Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night in prime time. I cannot wait. I'm not overhyped. I think the Philadelphia Eagles should win. It's not a game that I'm guaranteeing a win. You never know what happens when you go up there to Seattle. But first and foremost, win or lose, I think we're going to find a lot more out about this Philadelphia Eagles team than we have in any game throughout this season so far. So from that point, I'm in the mode that I fully expect to win. I'm going to be very disappointed if we don't win, but there still are going to be plenty of positives regardless of result for the Philadelphia Eagles to take out of this game as we enter the terror stretch with Seattle this week and LA next week. But there you go. That is it from me here today, guys. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you're hyped for Sunday night. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.